Yeah. Okay.
Yo, what the
Would you like to buy some essential oils?
My longtime subscribers know that I have a bit of a history with essential oils. Back in college, I attended classes about them and totally supported their use. I never sold them myself, although I supported people who did. By the end of college, though, I had become very skeptical of them, developing the critical thinking skills that it took for me to realize that essential oils aren't all they're cracked up to be actually led me out of religion. So yeah, essential oils have been a big influence on my life, and that's why my desk is decorated the way that it is. Most people, though, have probably encountered those making claims about and selling essential oils, but have never really looked deeply into the community surrounding them. So, I took it upon myself to join a few essential oil groups on Facebook so that I could show you what goes on in that community. I immediately found some pretty sketchy stuff. The first group that I joined and the one that I got the following posts from was actually a public group for those who use and sell essential oils from a specific multi-level marketing company. When you open up the group, you immediately see their pinned post. Be compliant with doTERRA. Remember, any suggestive, implied, or directly stated information that a doTERRA product or items will fix, cure, remedy, or prevent any medically diagnosable disease, illness, sickness, or ailment is impermissible. Focus on how the essential oils benefit the structure and function of the body. This looks good so far because it's totally illegal to claim that a supplement that you're selling can treat or cure an illness. doTERRA and Young Living have actually been in trouble with the FDA before because they've had their independent distributors claim that their oils can treat cancer, Alzheimer's, Ebola, heart disease, and much, much more. The FDA is not concerned with what happened to you, even if it's true. For example, if you say you took lavender and it helped with your insomnia, then you have made a drug claim. If you say you use lavender to sleep better, then you are in the safe area of structure and function. Once you refer to disease, you get into a troubling area. So you can't say that essential oils treat any illness, but you can make vague statements about them, and if someone in the context of the conversation takes that to mean that oils treat an illness, then so be it. It's a totally legal way to sell this stuff as medicine. And if you think I'm jumping the gun here and just assuming that people are doing that, allow me to show you the first 3 posts I ever saw in this group. My brother-in-law burned his finger looking for recommendations on an oil blend, please. Silver salve. I used lavender and tea tree. Great mix. Lavender, frankincense, and peppermint. Manuka honey. I think you get the idea. Luckily, there were some people encouraging the OP to go to the doctor, but those comments were in the minority. Next post. Looking for recipes for pain and scarring for my niece who is in a terrible car accident and had multiple surgeries. One of the very first comments. This is awesome for pain. Morphine blend with lemongrass, majoram, and frankincense. I mean, it's hard to market these as medicine any more directly than that. Third post here. Any suggestions for high blood pressure? Balance, I'm assuming that's a blend, on my feet in the morning. DDR Prime has done well for my husband's blood pressure. Copaiba, frankincense, and lavender. All of these posts are completely ordinary in this group. There are thousands of posts exactly like this, and that's frightening to me. In the first post, the guy relying on essential oils for his burn could allow it to get infected and he could lose his finger or even his hand. In the second post, the girl could end up suffering needlessly and miss out on way more work than necessary. And in the third post, the person using essential oils to treat high blood pressure could do serious damage to their cardiovascular system or even have a stroke by leaving their high blood pressure untreated. Some other posts here are even worse, though. Specific oils for depression and anxiety, or anything else for depression, my niece and I are both suffering. Depression is not something to mess around with. It's every bit as serious as a physical chronic illness. But instead of anyone in this group urging the OP to go to a professional, someone replied with this picture, and no one seemed to have a problem with it. Top 4 essential oils for depression. If you're depressed, especially if you're contemplating actions that might hurt yourself or others, seek the help of a qualified licensed professional. Start seeing a counselor. There's no shame in that. I've done it myself. Also, talk to a psychiatrist about any medications that could help, but please don't use unregulated, untested dietary supplements to treat a serious condition. Still, there's one more kind of post in this group that might be worse. Please, could I get some advice on which essential oils are good for breast cancer and how to use them? I actually do. I have advice for this person, but just 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. Go to the doctor! To be fair, not everyone that uses essential oils use them as a replacement for actual medical treatment, but any kind of expectation that these can treat illness, especially serious illness, even just as a supplement to traditional care, is unwarranted and potentially harmful. If they cause you to spend less time using evidence-based treatment, they're harmful. If they take more time and effort to use than some other placebo, they're harmful. If they take more money that could be spent on actual treatment out of your pocket or cost more than another placebo, they're harmful. Now, if you're wondering why people in Facebook groups like this believe that essential oils can treat so many issues, allow me to break it down for you with a couple more posts from the group. This post was authored and shared by a page run by what doTERRA calls a wellness advocate, who is attempting to educate people on essential oils so that they might buy them from the page's admin. So, yeah, wellness advocate just means salesperson in a multi-level marketing scheme. The post makes a lot of the most common arguments for essential oils in quick succession, so we'll just take them one at a time. Since essential oils are so effective, you may wonder why they're not part of mainstream medicine. The answer is simple. Pharmaceutical companies cannot patent essential oils, so they cannot make large profits from them. The lack for profit means there are not funds available for medical studies. The actual oils themselves probably couldn't be patented, that's right. But that's not to say that no patented medications could come out of essential oils, or that essential oils can't feasibly be subject to clinical trials. If the active compound in an oil could be isolated for specific medicinal uses and encapsulated in precise dosages for that use, it could be patented. A lot of drugs are just isolated and refined compounds which are produced by plants. You could do that with essential oils if they contain something useful and you could prove it. You could also subject an oil in its entirety to scientific testing. Essential oil companies like doTERRA and Young Living bring in hundreds of millions of dollars per year. I think that Young Living brought in like $1 billion in 2017. They could afford the testing necessary to demonstrate whether or not any of their oils work in the way their advocates claim. Why don't they, though? Well, it's because people are already buying them. They don't need to prove the oils work for them to be sold. People are already buying them based on the idea that they do something that no scientific evidence confirms they do. Rigorous testing is just an unnecessary expense for these companies. And if testing showed that essential oils don't actually work in the way their advocates claim, that would just destroy the company's credibility. It's simply easier to sell oils as unregulated supplements to the impressionable than it is to make it in the fiercely competitive pharmaceutical industry. The majority of what is known about essential oils comes from information passed down over thousands of years of experimentation and personal use. No. This should say the majority of what is thought about essential oils. If they haven't been subject to testing where outside factors like diet, medication, other health conditions, and the placebo effect were taken into account and eliminated as possible causes of any observed effects, then we don't know what an oil actually does. This kind of experimentation simply hasn't existed for thousands of years. It's a very recent development, and it's the backbone of all real medical science. Ancient lore is often not that reliable, and just because something has been used for thousands of years doesn't mean it works. People practiced medicine according to the four humors. They drilled holes in their skulls to let demons out. They even tried to become immortal by drinking mercury or gunpowder for thousands of years. None of that ever worked. Why believe in essential oils based on their antiquity, but not embrace all other ancient remedies? All that thousands of years of practice gives us is folklore, which isn't simply true on its own merit. One of the many things I love about doTERRA is that every single batch of doTERRA oils are tested thoroughly in-house and then also tested by the independent lab APRC, ensuring that every oil meets their CPTG quality standards. That's right, every doTERRA oil meets that CPTG, or Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, standard. And do you know who made up that standard and can make it mean literally anything they want because it's an unregulated, unrecognized, non-medical term? doTERRA. Their oils probably are high quality, but this term does not make them medicinally useful. Take a look at this graphic by doTERRA. According to them, from the least pure to most pure, the grades of oils are synthetic, food grade, therapeutic grade, and CPTG. Makes their oils sound pretty great, right? Well, to qualify an oil as therapeutic grade, all you have to do is make sure it really is the oil from the plant you're saying it's from, and then from there just call it therapeutic grade. Proof that it's useful in any kind of therapy is not necessary. Lastly, the reason why doTERRA came up with CPTG and say it's better than therapeutic grade is because their main competitor, the company they broke off from, Young Living, calls their oils 100% therapeutic grade. All that lingo about purity is 100% therapeutic grade marketing. doTERRA also has scientists that are hard at work conducting clinical and experimental scientific research, providing more evidence of the efficacy of the most tested and the most trusted essential oils. They do have a lab that runs tests. If you go to their website, you find a section that talks about the research on 15 of their many oils. They summarize the studies on their website and don't link to the article online, but include a link to a bibliography which cites the study. And then if you look those up by Googling the citation, you can't find some of them, and some articles are found in journals that will just publish articles as long as they're paid. Maybe some of the articles are in real journals, I didn't search every one, but there's already enough obvious bad practice here to warrant concern. Most importantly, only 2 of their studies actually involve human test subjects. All the rest experimented on small cell colonies, many if not most of which were not even human. A study like that can't show that an oil does anything to a human subject. And of the 2 studies involving humans, one tested only 16 people, and the other involved about 50 who happened to all be doTERRA employees. So can we say that the usefulness of doTERRA's oils for treating humans is backed by reliable and relevant research? Not a chance. Finally, I'm done with that post. Now, often the best way to understand why someone believes something is to just ask them what convinced them. Luckily, someone in this group already actually asked that of its members. Alright ladies, I am a huge skeptic. Who has used oils and seen real results? Give me your stories. I've gotten off all my medications using the oils. Great, literally replacing medicine. That's exactly what we want. I started using essential oils about 2 years ago and I haven't used any pharmaceuticals since. Yeah, perfect. More dependence on supplements. There are stories about allergies, chronic pain, even autism here. You get the idea. Personal experience is obviously king for these people. The problem is that's an unreliable means of knowing it really is the oils helping. It could be placebo, dietary changes, or even the effects of actual medication that's helping these people. We just don't know. That's why in scientific testing, the thing actually being tested is isolated in its effects so that we know what it really does. Personal experience can't do that. Plus, people can have completely contradictory personal experiences. If we're relying on personal experience, then I can just believe that they don't work because I've tried a lot of oils and never noticed any changes. My reasoning would be no different than these people's, and there would be no way to change my mind, just like there's no way to change theirs. Fortunately, I don't actually think this way. I base my ideas about oils and medicine on reliable, peer-reviewed scientific research, not my own unreliable personal experience. I hope by the end of this video you've seen how dangerous this stuff can be. The only reason I speak out against this stuff is because I don't want people buying into snake oil and then getting hurt. It's totally okay to enjoy and use essential oils. Just don't use them to treat medical conditions and don't give money to those who imply that they can. Get your oils from like the drugstore where they're much cheaper and don't put money in the pockets of people who are breaking or skirting around the law. And most importantly, learn to take on the claims of essential oil salesmen so that you might be able to prevent someone from getting hurt. Thanks for watching me be super frustrated for like 10 to 15 minutes. I really appreciate it. I've been Drew of Genetically Modified Skeptic. Praise be unto Adam, my top patron and personal Lord and Savior, for making this video possible. Subscribe, check out my Patreon, follow me on Twitter and Facebook at GM Skeptic, and until next time, stay skeptical. Alright, I am ready for downvotes. You better never criticize the oils, you little piece of shit.